Welcome to Friday, October 29th, 2021. Changes are coming, but before we get into the changing weather this weekend and next week, we're going to have a nice day today. As we talked yesterday, this is a great day to take advantage of if you can. It's just going to be gorgeous. Cold air starts to move in from the north starting Saturday. In fact, for folks up into Montana, it's going to start getting colder today, and then the cold air will move from the north to the south. So wherever you are, you're going to want to basically assume that the weather is going to come in from the north to south this weekend into early next week. So the farther south you are, the longer you'll keep the good weather. The farther north you are, well, that's when the weather will change first. Halloween is definitely going to be colder. Have we seen worse Halloweens? Oh yeah, we have. This is not going to be terribly awful, but kids are going to need to bundle up. It's going to be cloudy, kind of soupy, with some areas of rain and snow showers. And this is going to be especially true along and east of the Continental Divide in the upslope areas. November is going to be off to a colder start. I don't see any record cold coming, but a large part of the nation is going to start off November significantly colder. Sun activity. There's been a lot of sun activity, and we're going to talk about that because we like to talk about the sun in these podcasts, and we have just gone out of our solar minimum. We're now going into our next active solar cycle. And there was a big burst out of the sun yesterday. Also, next week, we're getting all of our ducks in a row in terms of being able to put together a long-range winter forecast for the interior west and most of the nation. And we're going to have that for you next week. We'll produce a separate video next week and give us a long-range forecast that will look at basically November through March. So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about yesterday's solar flare. We had a big solar flare. It was an X1 class solar flare, which is a big one. And it came out of this guy here, sunspot 2887. When the sun rotates and faces the earth, which is the situation here, when there is a flare, when you see these sunspot images, that means it is facing the earth. So when there's an explosion or a flare coming out of the sun, it's earth directed. So it is looking like this weekend, we're going to be impacted by a CME, and you can see it from the video here. Right here, the sunspot group right here is what caused the solar flare. And if we were to look at what's called the SOHO satellite that's out in space monitoring the sun, you can see the coronal mass ejection coming out of the sun. So basically, this is sending highly charged plasma energy towards the Earth. It's going to take a while to get here, but it's on the way and will be arriving as early as tomorrow and into Halloween. So what does that mean for us? Well, that means if you're a aurora borealis watcher, this is likely going to create an aurora. And right now, the folks who make these predictions think that the aurora might be able to be visually seen as far south as 50 degrees geomagnetic latitude. Now, geomagnetic latitude is different than normal latitude. You can see it's kind of wavy, not straight lines like you normally do with the latitude. But this zone right here may be able to be observing auroras Saturday night, maybe Sunday night, depending if you have clear skies or night. This is going to be something that's going to happen more frequently. Now that we're going into the next solar cycle, there'll be more solar flares, more sunspot activity, and also this could cause radio disturbances, other disturbances with satellites and everything else. Everyone's been anticipating this to start happening in this new solar cycle, and this will be something we'll talk about in future podcasts because it's going to become more frequent. Today's satellite imagery shows the next weather system coming our way right up here. It's beginning to form a low pressure over southwestern areas of British Columbia, but we have this little gap here of clear skies, high pressure, and this is today's good weather. Yep, that's a really bad jack-o'-lantern. There we go. But it's going to be really good today and tomorrow. Not so good on Halloween. But as we go forward, we are going to see things begin to change as early as tomorrow afternoon. So today's map shows that kink right there and then the high pressure ridge and the storm in the Midwest. Here's our high pressure. This little kink right here is going to be the troublemaker going into this weekend and early next week. So the high pressure overhead today shifts like this. We see high pressure build strongly up here into British Columbia and along the Pacific coast there. That opens the door to Canada. So here comes the colder air. This is by Sunday morning, Halloween morning. The colder air is going to be right along right here on the surface, getting pushed in by those northerly winds aloft, dragging in that colder air. By Wednesday, there's another spoke of cold air that comes in and might come back to the Rockies again. So what we do is we see two surges. We see a surge of colder air coming in late Saturday through Sunday into early Monday. Then maybe a little bit of a bounce up in temperature Tuesday, then potentially another wave of colder air coming in during the course of the day, late Tuesday night into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, with cold air spilling along the divide and getting all the way down to the Gulf Coast. There is going to be some rain and snow with these surges of cold air as well. So temperatures relative to normal today are going to be very warm out ahead of that front and under the high pressure system. But you can see there's a distinct boundary right here, and that's where the colder air is going to begin to form. By Saturday afternoon, this is by sundown tomorrow, the colder air gets about to the Cheyenne Ridge near Cheyenne, stays out of Colorado at least during the day tomorrow. So you folks down here will get another really good day tomorrow. But Montana, Wyoming, the western Dakotas, western Nebraska, you're going to feel it getting colder, and you're going to see clouds move in late tomorrow and tomorrow night. Also want to tell you that it's going to get soupy. We're probably going to have fog and drizzle and light rain and some light snow shower activity Saturday evening and Saturday night. Especially watch out for fog on Interstate 80 between Laramie and Cheyenne. Then by Sunday, this is right at trick-or-treat time, right around 6 p.m., the cold air spills all the way down into northeastern New Mexico and the panhandles, and the green here showing some pretty chilly air along and east of the Continental Divide by the time we send out the trick-or-treaters Sunday evening. There's going to be some moisture with that as well. This is through Monday afternoon. Along the boundary of the front, it's a narrow boundary, but there's going to be areas of rain and snow developing along the cold front during the course of Saturday night late, but especially Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and Monday morning. And that has got the potential to produce some snowfall. The next round of colder air, this is what comes in Tuesday night into Wednesday and Thursday, will produce another area of rain and snow right along the Arctic front, and that colder air and the moisture from the Pacific will produce some moisture. So you put these two areas, these two episodes together, and you're going to get rain and probably some snow. So this is through Monday. Notice it focuses itself right along I-80. Travelers keep that in mind. The north central mountains of Colorado as well. If you add the second snow event that could come in Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to expand that snow risk further south. And as well as, boy, the mountains of north central Colorado and southern Wyoming could do quite well in terms of picking up some snowfall out of this. If you were to look at the extent of cold air this is by next Thursday afternoon, all the way to the Gulf Coast, we're going to get a pretty good shot of much colder air coming on in with this wave of cold. So this is going to be something that will affect a large part of the United States heading into the first week of November. Have yourself a great weekend. Be ready for the changes. We'll see you next week. Have yourself a good weekend.